all black. Find your home.
We hit Black 11.
I hit Black 11. That's the Dragon.
Welcome back to Water Hose Drinkers. Today we're here with Georgia Southern quarterback number 12, JC French. First off, JC, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you guys having me.
Now 12, that's like, you're like the Tom Brady of Georgia Southern is what they're saying after last season, right? Like that's how I take it in, so
Hopefully one day.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what is the 12? Is that been the number since high school, or is that just kind of you came to Georgia Southern and you got 12?
Really, I've kind of like had different numbers growing up. I've never had like a set number, but kind of when I got here, it's just one that was open, kind of given to me. Coach Ellis just said, "You're number 12," and I was like, "Okay, sounds good."
Yeah.
Kind of just riding with it.
Yeah, I didn't know the story, if there was a story behind that. The reason I asked is just because you were at Memphis, you know, red shirt there before you transferred to Georgia Southern. Seth Hennigan changed his number every single year of college. But I just kind of thought about that. But talk about coming from Memphis, you back up there, red shirt there. What made you come to Georgia Southern? Why Georgia Southern?
Yeah, so starting off at Memphis, so I committed there my senior year pretty late. George Southern was recruiting me then. It's kind of the time where Coach Helton like just got there, so it was like already late. I was already committed, and then I signed to Memphis, and then 2 weeks later, the OC I signed with, he actually gets a job at Duke. So I'm basically going to Memphis with an OC that never really recruited me. So I mean, the head coach was still there. We had a good relationship, but I kind of just played that first freshman year. It didn't really go how I wanted it to. Being in Memphis, like I mean, the city's kind of tough in some aspects. Not gonna lie, but like after that, getting in the portal and kind of like getting heavily recruited by the staff in Georgia Southern, and I came to visit on my official, and it was just really like my speed, my type of town, small town, all about football. The coaches are great. They really prepare you for the next level, and I think that was huge for me. And just the offensive scheme was what fit me best, just because they like to throw it around the yard, and it's kind of quarterback driven. So that's what I liked in this offense and kind of what drove me to come to Georgia Southern.
Yeah, I feel like too, you do have a lot of ability to scramble and use your legs as well, which you're good at, and you showed that a lot last year. And even, backing up Davis Brin, there was a lot of packages for you, just kind of strictly running the ball. But, do you feel like, I guess under Helton, you're probably the only quarterback that we've had that can really, utilize their legs and gain yardage, in a scramble, a broken play, whatever it is. Do you feel like that's something that you've always been good at, or it's just, you see a hole, you hit it, it doesn't matter, you just got to go.
Yeah, I think growing up, I did utilize my legs, like obviously in little league and stuff like that. But as I've gotten older, I've gotten more, like I guess athletic, I'd say, just by lifting and like strength and conditioning and all that. So I definitely think that helps my game a lot, but I don't think it's at near its potential where it can be. So I've been really hammering down this off season on getting my body fat right, get my weight down, and I'll not too much down, but just being able to use my legs even more, because last year I felt like, I mean, I run the ball a little bit, but not as effective as I can be. So I've been really hammering down on those things.
You're that kind of guy, obviously, unfortunately you had a few kind of minor injuries, here and there, running the ball, but that's what unfortunately injuries, but you're not afraid to put your body on the line. And that's what I love out of a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like you're a team guy. You're not afraid. You're going to take the big hit. I mean, you got to do what you got to do to win. And I mean, has that kind of always just been your mentality since day one, early on in high school? Just kind of playing and, sometimes F it football. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like, is that
Call
something
it I
you
call
can
it Baker
follow?
football, Baker Mayfield,
love
esque.
Baker. Love
Fair,
Yeah.
Baker.
fair.
Yeah.
But is that something that just you're not trying to shy away from a big hit? You know, is that something that you've been kind of instilled in you since high school?
Yeah, I mean, I've always like never wanted to be seen as soft. I know quarterbacks they can be like, oh, he's a quarterback, he's soft, whatever. But I've never like wanted to play like that. I've always like grown up like playing both sides and kind of being like available. So I mean, just put my body on the line. Like I mean, I'll be fine. Like it'll be okay. Ain't nothing ice bath can't fix.
I love
Yeah.
that. That's like a Baker answer. That's what I like about it. That's that energy, man. That's awesome. Take us you know, your season ends, you go through spring, now we're in the summer. How's that going? How are you preparing for next season? You're looking forward to that. We got Fresno State on deck, obviously. So how are we feeling going, starting from last year, way it ended into now. Let's let walk through that, how you feeling and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I think this year is going to be is totally different for me because it's going to be my second year starting. And so coming off of last season, obviously it wasn't. I was very disappointed with how it ended, how I played and everything. So since that point, I like promised myself like that I would do everything in my power to not let those type of circumstances happen again. So that's like why I'm getting my eating right. I've been studying more film. I've been doing all this extra quarterback stuff, just to set myself up for the most success I can have next year. And I think that Coach App, he's really helped me with that because I consider him my mentor. He's helped me through a lot of things, and I just like I'm super excited. We got some new weapons this year, which are going to be super duper helpful to the offensive side. So I'm really excited to let the fans see what we got cooking.
Yeah, you talk about Coach App, and obviously, you had 1 year with Coach Ellis as well. Two guys that played, quarterback in college. Especially, Coach App is probably, one of the Sun Belt's all-time great, quarterbacks statistically.
Mhm.
So, I mean, talk about that. You got two guys, and then Coach Helton also played quarterback in college. Talk about that. You got a lot of guys around you that have a lot of quarterback experience and a lot of coaching experience at a high level. Talk about some of those guys, how obviously Coach App's a big influence on you, but how has that kind of them being former quarterbacks helped you out?
Yeah, I think it's just so valuable having like almost every coach on the offensive staff, other than two, have played quarterback. So having a quarterback like offensive mind is huge for me at least because we're all kind of like thinking the same thing, and like that they've been through it, like they've been through college before. And they just like Coach App gives me pointers all the time about like what he used to do and what made his keys to success and all that stuff. So I think it's really huge for the quarterback position to have like driven minds in an offense.
Yeah, and I mean, especially, there's a lot of ups and downs to the season. There's a lot of ups and downs as a quarterback, as a whole. How do you just try to stay focused? Because I mean, in any given day, anybody can have a bad game, but you have a bad game. What's something that you do to stay focused that just maybe just flush it down the toilet and move on? What's something that you try to do just to try to stay focused and focus on the next play, the next game?
Yeah, so I think big thing for me is just kind of not getting too ahead of myself. Don't let myself get worked up over anything. Definitely stay off social media. Don't
Yeah.
look at any of that stuff. Just it's just not healthy for guys to go digging for stuff. I think so. Just keeping a clear mind. Watching film over, seeing what I need to work on that week and what needs to change. So I think really just keeping it within myself helps me a lot.
I will say, social media wise, it was your first year starting last year. Everything I saw was super positive throughout the entire season, and I believe it was the Legata because of the French
Uh-huh.
connection. I thought that was hilarious. I don't know if you said you stayed on. I don't know if you saw any of that. I thought the fan base got
Yeah,
creative
the,
with
the
that.
French the French flags flying on the
I
tail.
didn't do that. That
Man,
was pretty sweet. I like that.
That was sick, dude. And I think, that first game, you came out and you really showed everyone like, yeah, this guy, it was your first time, like, man, this guy can ball, because it was a close game, obviously not the result y'all wanted, and then you go on through the rest of the season and you just showed that like you guys know how to ball, and you now second year starting, and you're getting prepared for the season, and like you said, I saw that smile, new weapons and all that stuff, so we're manifesting a conference championship, for you guys, and you're gonna be at the helm of that, and I know you're excited, man, and I'm looking forward to it, but I just wanted to sell you. Social media has been is pretty good because I've seen the bad side of social media from for perspective. Being an FSU fan, trust me, I see the
Mhm.
real bad side of social
Oh, I'm
media.
sure.
So
I'm sure.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm
Social
glad
media
there's
is not
good
really
things
healthy
coming.
for anybody, though.
Yeah, no doubt.
But from game one to the rest of the season, now, of course, I don't know anything, but it seemed like as a whole, moving forward game by game, you got better at progressing in your reads, finding open targets. You played much better as the season went on. If you look at the first game towards the end of the season, you improved, at least I feel like game by game. Obviously you had, a few injuries, you got dinged up, but talk about from game one of last year to now, I feel sure in your head you're a much different quarterback than you were a year ago.
Yeah, I agree, and I think a lot of it had to do with just getting reps and getting that game like experience. I mean, nothing's like a game. You can only do so much in practice to simulate a game. So I think really just like seeing all the different coverages and what teams are trying to do and how they're trying to attack us and all of our weaknesses. So I think seeing that week to week really like helped me develop throughout the season. So I think, and Coach App also they do a great job of scouting other teams. So I'm always with them and all their staff meetings and all the like they're getting the game plans for the week, and I'm just sitting in there listening, giving my thoughts every now and then when they ask. And yeah, really just kind of sitting in there with the coaches, like I'm constantly learning stuff, and I love that because I like being prepared for a game. Like the worst feeling in the world is going out there and having no idea what to do. So I strive to not ever do that. So I think, yeah, that's a big thing. Like Coach App helps me a lot with like my mental side and game planning, and that it also just boils down to reps.
Yeah. And early on in college, obviously, you've been the young guy in the locker room, you've been the young guy in the quarterback room. You're behind Seth Hennigan, he's, now in the NFL with the Jaguars, I believe. And you're behind Davis Brin, and now you're one of the older guys in the locker room. Talk about, how does that feel to, you still got 2 seasons left,
Mhm.
but it's got to be weird being a redshirt junior, correct? Now, how it's got to be weird being one of the older guys in the quarterback room now because it probably just happened all so fast.
Yeah, it's honestly just crazy because I remember being the youngest guy like it was yesterday, and now it's me and Turner, the oldest, in our room, and I think that just like it just kind of flipped the script because now I'm going into year two. Like obviously last year you got to be a leader as a quarterback and all that, but I was just so focused on my job, like I wasn't able to give the like be the leader on the offense side like I want to be. And I think going into this year, I'm doing that, being more of a leader aspect to everybody, and that just comes with maturity and being like I said, like reps and games, and you can kind of branch out to other position groups because you kind of understand what's going on. And yeah, so that's kind
I mean,
It's a Baker mentality. That's all I'm saying. I'm just making the comparison. Just running the Baker mentality. I think is gonna work. It works well. We ain't no Kirk Cousins up in here. Strictly
of,
Baker.
yeah, I love that comparison. So I'll
yeah.
take it.
You mentioned kind of, your leadership and trying to be that guy that everybody can rely on is something that you're going to bring to the table this year. What's something else that you think that in the past, without giving away too much, obviously, that you can bring to the table this year that you haven't done in the past?
I think my mental side of football has skyrocketed since the end of the season because I was able to sit back and watch every single game and see what I should have checked to, see what I should have made a different decision, and just all those games. And I'm just like like constantly going back and seeing like we're also like studying some NFL teams. Like we've been doing that as a quarterback group. And I think like watching like the Lions, Jared Goff does like amazing stuff. I mean, he does, I don't think he gets credit for all he does, but just kind of like I guess studying more of the game, just it becoming more familiar, knowing exactly what we want to get to, we want to attack in a defense each week to week. I think is going to be a huge part of my game this coming year, and just like understanding what like the game of football as a quarterback and trying to be a pro.
Is Jared Goff kind of like your guy you like to study in the film room for
I like to.
players?
I think it was big. Jared Goff. I mean, he's great, but I wouldn't say he's like my favorite. I just like Coach App loves what they do on offense, and I think like they utilize their players really well. Like kind of like an Amon Ross St. Brown.
Hmm.
We kind of use Josh. Like we utilize him like in the blocking scheme as well in the pass scheme. So I think what they do and kind of how they isolate their matchups is pretty cool. Cool to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a ton of talent in that receiver room. Got a
Um,
lot of studs at running back as well. You
yes.
know, who's that guy that you think, obviously Dalen Cobb, Josh Dallas, we know they're going to be there. We know they're going to be guys that you can count on. Who's that guy that maybe the fans don't know that's really going to step up in a big way for you guys on offense?
So I got two guys that come straight to mind. First one is Camden Brown, receiver from Auburn. He has been an absolute dude this past spring. I mean, just grown man. What he's about like 6'4", 210. Just I mean, it's great having that size on the outside. And also River Helms, Western Kentucky tight end transfer. He was a little banged up for all spring, but he's getting back this summer. He's been doing a hell of a job. So I think it's really exciting to get those guys. And the size on the outside also helps with Camden Brown.
Yeah, you got size on the outside, and you got a whole hell of a lot of speed on the inside too.
Absolutely.
Man, it's gonna be a fun season for you guys. I'm excited for y'all. I really am.
And I think like just adding those guys like just like helps us, kind of branch out and to do more things, like do more cool offense schemes that are like I guess like a regular fan would never think of. So that's kind of like why we're studying like NFL offenses and like how we can maneuver matchups and all that is because we have the guys like to do that. Like
Are
we
we
want
gonna see,
matches.
a little trickery that you roll out and, a little little bit like fade, you catch it, give us a little dance to the
Yeah,
end
I
zone?
mean that'd be great. I'd love to catch a touchdown in college. That'd be
Never
cool.
know, never know. We've
Really
been
special. I'll be all for it.
we've been manifesting for a while about getting a big boy touchdown.
Oh yes.
Yes, one of the linemen. Just give me a
We
big
we
dog.
need JC. I know you're not the one calling the plays, but
Mhm.
if you just have a chance to audible to like coach out, like we're on the 5 yard line, like just let me roll out to the left and throw a big boy to the touchdown, screen pass, butt naked, wide open, end zone. I mean, if you can check to it, please, just one day.
Oh man,
I,
I would love to. I mean to get so last year, Bryson Broadway would always come to Coach Abbott and say like he would send him plays of linemen getting like screen passes or something, and we would always try to like itch it towards Coach App. We finally put it in, but obviously we never ran it.
yeah.
But I think if we could give like Caleb Cook like a fullback dive or something, that
We
would.
just said
We
that.
were just talking to Caleb. We're like, Caleb, we need a
And
touchdown,
he was
man.
like, no, he was talking like, no, I can't. We're like, we'll just line you up, someone else in your spot. Yeah. Caleb, because
Yeah,
he's already
but
got, he
we
said if
we
he scores,
mentioned
he'll do a backflip. So I'm
Oh,
just
I
going
mean, I would go crazy if he did that.
we only mentioned him maybe lining up at the tight end, which is normally a tackle and he's playing guard. But now that you say lining up at fullback, that's a scary man running
It
downhill with the
is.
football, dude.
Because we have a few like formation sets where he is at fullback because he will run through somebody's face. And so I think, just like turn around, giving it to him and like pitch it like a fake pitch on the outside. Like I don't think they'd ever expect it.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like the play gets called. You are, essentially the guy in the huddle that's running that, you could have a little miscommunication on what you heard
Technically,
if
I
you
know.
are in that set and it's like, but you said this and it might not, you once you get out there, you are the you run the whole thing. So
Yeah,
you can make it happen.
I could. I just don't know if I want to get chewed out or not. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
As long as you
Gotta
As
work.
score, I
long as
don't
it's a
think,
touchdown, though. Long
yeah,
as it's a
if it
touchdown.
works,
If it
this is
works,
it's
everybody's happy.
calculated risks. That's all you got to do is a calculated
Look,
risk.
if you need an extra body to get Caleb the football, I'll step in and play guard. You might not like me,
I
just go the opposite direction, but I
mean,
mean,
yeah, just gotta get in somebody's way.
I don't
Like
think I don't have any more
2 seconds.
eligibility.
yeah, I'm out of eligibility, but I will say I can still throw some like 10-yard out routes, man. I was an all-state backup quarterback in high school, dude.
Yeah,
Wing T, I was terrible, never played, but I got my shit rocked a lot. A lot, man.
I can imagine. I mean, being a quarterback in the wing tee, I don't think would be very fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine during practice because I didn't couldn't get touched, but when and if I played, it was not very fun at all.
I
But
wanted to bring it back. I want to bring it back, those old style of offenses, but that's a conversation for a different
it's a
day.
high school thing, dude. You're not doing that in college. I mean,
It's so hard to play against because like you're just waiting on the sideline. You're getting cold. They're running the whole clock out. What you get like 6 drives a game, maybe. You got to make those six count. If you don't, you're kind of shit out a lot.
That's why I want to bring it back. I think,
I mean,
look at Army last year. I mean, they
yeah, but you know there's a side of JC. He wants to throw that 60
oh
yard
well, for
bomb to
sure.
the end
uh,
zone. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
absolutely.
Well, especially with the height on the outside, man, you just throw it up and just go get
Give
it.
him a chance. Just Coach Epps.
Exactly.
Just give him a chance.
You know,
Love it.
I've said this, the last, several years, just with Coach Helton being at Georgia Southern, that ever since he got in there, it's been the best team that we've had in a long time. And I really, really, really feel that way with this, team that you were on. And there's a lot of studs on that defense too, especially in the secondary, reloaded a lot pretty much everywhere. We got some of the highest returning guys in the Sun Belt. You're the only quarterback in the Sun Belt returning as a starter. And maybe Colton Joseph at ODU.
Mhm.
He might be there too. But okay. But either way, you're might be the only one or one of few that are
Mhm.
returning in the Sun Belt. Obviously you transferred once, but that's got to speak volumes about Coach Helton and his staff and Georgia Southern as a whole.
Absolutely. I think it boils down to their leadership, and I think like being on the offensive like side, seeing it from my perspective, Coach App does a great job of establishing relationships with everybody. Like he'll like press you if you don't come in his office and say what's up to him when you walk by. Like he's just a people person, I think him and Coach Helen do a great job, getting to know the guys, not just like people aren't afraid to go in their office and hang out. Like at Memphis, that wasn't the case. Like he did not go hang out with coaches. And I think them being a little bit younger, Coach App being, I don't know what he is, like 34, 35, like we can kind of like resonate with him, like relate on certain stuff. We can talk about whatever, just shoot the shit. And I think
34, 35, young. I love to hear it. I love to hear it.
yeah. So I mean, I think it's just a good thing, having a young coach and staff is huge for all the players.
Since you've got to Georgia Southern, whether it's a coach, teammate, whoever, who's been kind of like that guy or person that you've really connected with at Georgia Southern since you've been there?
Yeah. So at when I first got here, I hung out with Colton Fitzgerald a lot. He was an old quarterback.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Love that dude. He's at West Georgia now. And then I kind of this past year I moved in with Tyler Fromm and Bryson Bradway.
Mhm.
So we all got really close. So I think those were the guys, and Chance Carroll as well. He transferred in last year. So I think those were the guys that I really kind of clicked with, and we all had the same kind of vision of like we all wanted to win, we all wanted to like be successful and all that. So I think that has also helped me like mature as like a football player and a young man. Like I think like just hanging out with the right people. Like Coach Helton always says, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. So I think hanging out with them has really just like helped me take leaps and bounds and just maturing as a person.
I don't know if you're much of a golfer, but I know Chance plays a good bit of golf. That's your center. But Tyler Fromm can hit a 4 iron about 300 yards, and it's
Mhm.
pretty damn impressive, if
Yeah,
I
it
do say
is.
so.
Me and Tyler love to go out and golf. I wouldn't say I'm good at golf, but I like playing. It's frustrating. I actually broke my driver last round, which I'm still pissed off about. But
Listen, I shot a 96 the other day, and I'm
He's
completely
ecstatic
okay.
about it. Yeah.
I wasn't ecstatic
I'm
about
I'm
it.
with you.
Okay, so
96 ain't too bad.
uh, I'll bring
Uh,
the I'll bring the beverages and we'll have a good time. And I'll hit one impressive shot that I post on my Instagram story. First
Yeah.
time ever. He even Josh had never seen my swing, and with me moving up to Tallahassee, he's like, "Oh man, we're gonna get to play." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm actually impressed. I thought you're like I'm actually impressed with your swing." And I was like, "I never had a bad swing."
I wasn't trying to be rude. We've known each other for probably a decade, and I haven't played golf with you like yet. So, but you're moving closer to me, so we'll have that opportunity.
I'll
There
put it
you go.
this way: you were the sixth person that was like, "Wow, your spring's actually pretty impressive." So I feel you, dude. I got there for a good time. So we'll have
Uh,
to
as long as
make it.
you're having fun, that's all that matters.
We'll have to make it
Two
happen.
2 weeks ago, I shot 83. I went 86, 83. But my problem is,
Mm.
Yeah,
I still cannot beat my father, and
problem.
it's I can't do it. I
Oh,
probably
Yeah.
won't be able to
oh,
ever.
my name's Josh. I
No.
shoot at 83 and I can't beat my
It's not
dad.
that good. It's not that good because
I didn't know Mr.
I'll
Lenny
shoot
was that
eight.
good.
Oh yeah, dude. When I shot 83 the other day, I was like, okay, like I'm feeling really good about myself. He shot 74, and I was like, dude, like,
74? Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Hey,
I didn't know he
he's a
had it like
stick.
that.
He's a stick. I'm telling you, he's a stick.
We're gonna have to get a whole team outing and have Mr. Lenny show him show us how it's done.
Yeah, I might need to
Well,
take some lessons from him.
I heard Alex Smith is pretty good too.
He is an elite golfer. I mean, me and him played scramble. I think we shot like, I don't know, maybe four under, but I mean, we use like every one of his shots. Maybe one of my drives every now and then, but I mean, he's just automatic.
That's the
I'm the
best part
same.
of scramble. You got a good partner. You just got to sink a couple putts, and they'll love it.
Exactly. I mean that I love playing scramble, just because I get pissed off counting my own score, you know.
Fair.
Oh,
Fair.
that dude. The trick to that is you don't. You just play and
Yeah.
you hit
I
where.
mean, oh, trust me, I've done that a lot. I just stopped counting after a while.
But last thing we got for you, Mount Rushmore of NFL quarterbacks. Now it doesn't have to, you don't have to be like Tom Brady's a GOAT. Like, I mean, obviously, like
I'm gonna do current.
we can,
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna do current,
I'm
yeah,
doing current in the league.
current active NFL players. Okay. I'll start us off. Patrick Mahomes is obviously the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
yeah. Mhm.
So I'm just going to completely exclude him
Okay.
off the list because Mahomes is just like,
Okay.
guy's just a different tier of, you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
No,
I got you.
I disagree.
Okay, whatever.
I have other people that I take over him,
Okay,
but
then go first. Go first.
okay. Well, honorable mention I'm gonna give to Baker, my guy, obviously.
Love that.
Um, and then at the four spot, I'm gonna take no, swap this actually. I'm gonna swap it. At the honorable mention spot, I'm gonna take Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Yes, and then I'm gonna go Baker at four. I'm gonna go Mahomes at oh, this is tough. Josh Allen's my one. We're just gonna put that out there. Josh Allen's my one. Mahomes is gonna be my two.
Hmm.
Missing a three.
I know. I gotta figure. I'll give him his flowers. Aaron Rodgers is gonna go at my three,
Okay.
Okay,
just for
I'll
legacy.
Solid.
just, I'm a Rodgers guy too. But I'll do two honorable mentions because Cole, I like to do this. Just because of age and they're at the end of the career, I'm going to go Matt Stafford and Rodgers.
Okay. I
That's
like
As
that.
a
valid.
whole, as a whole, obviously their career-wise is better than some of these guys. I'm excluding Mahomes.
Mhm.
So number four might get some hate. I'm a Dak Prescott guy. I like Dak Prescott.
Okay.
I like Dak Prescott. Number three, I gotta go LJ.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number two, Joe Cool. Gotta go Joe Burrow.
Love that. Well, I was waiting for that one.
Yeah, number one's Josh Allen. Like, I mean, Jared
Oh,
Jared Goff is close on that list for sure.
yeah.
Okay.
JC, your go.
All right. Okay. So I'm not gonna do honorable mention. I'm just gonna do four. So at
Perfect.
my four, I'm gonna go Jared Goff. I think I'm kind of biased. I like what they do on offense, whatever. Um, I just like seeing some of his clips. Some of his throws are just unreal. Like that, you would never really like think back to watch and like precisely go through and kind of watch it. Like, I mean, he's an unreal arm. He's very smart, obviously, and I think my number three, I'm gonna go Joe Burrow. Um, I love Joe Shiesty. I think he's got like a swag about him, that like is pretty cool. Like I'm just thinking of when they won the Natty. I think 2019. Like just
Smoking a cigar.
him walking in the locker room, just smoking that cigar. I'm like, that's freaking sick. So at my number two, we're excluding Patrick Mahomes. And so my number two, I'm gonna go Lamar Jackson. I think he's just an athletic freak. Like there is maybe he should won MVP. I don't know. And then my number
He
one,
should have. He should have won the MVP. Yeah.
yeah. And then at my number one, I'm going Josh Allen.
Dude, he's so
He
good.
can run, he can throw, he's a strong arm, he's huge. Like, I mean,
And he's a stick at golf, apparently.
yeah, supposedly. And I think
He's married.
he's
Married to Haley, what's her face?
Yep.
This guy, he's
All around.
great head of hair. Came from Wyoming. I mean, I can't talk.
He's
Can't
he's a
say
Cali he's a Cali kid, man. I mean, underrated all of his life to the to one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
He's got it figured out for sure.
hmm
He's living right.
But all right, JC, man, we really appreciate you coming on again. Good luck this season, man. We're praying for y'all, praying for everybody staying healthy. And, like I said, good luck. Hopefully we bring home a conference championship this year, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys having me. It's fun
Appreciate it,
talking.
All right,
brother.
man. See ya.
All right, guys. See ya.